You know how Donald Trump tries to flex on immigrants in the United States, especially from certain countries, calling them illegal, treating them as criminals, even when he knows it's a lie? Well, some leaders in some other countries have decided to show their power by showing Americans the door, telling them to leave expeditiously, enacting their own travel restrictions ahead of Trump's. The Republic of Namibia in Southwest Africa, they have slammed the door in the faces of 500 Americans who were there to mine diamonds, gold, copper, uranium, and other go other things, telling them that they have to leave their country. Now, some of them were using work visas and some of them were not on work visas, but they all didn't really have to have a travel visa. But now the country has enacted a rule that says everyone who comes to the country has to have a visa. But since Trump has planned to a travel ban on the people visiting the United States from 43 countries, including parts of Africa, Namibia set a deadline for all American citizens to leave voluntarily or to get thrown out. So some of those Americans, they tried to renew their work visas so they could stay. But guess what? Everybody was denied. Now, Namibia is taking control of its natural resources. So, no more cheap diamonds for American corporations who turn around and resell those diamonds at 2 or 3 times what they paid. And I guess it's going to be cubic zirconia for brides that are getting married this summer. Now, in response to Trump's travel ban, Nigerians Nigeria is closing its embassy in the United States. They have blocked the sale of oil to the United States, and they closed its Abuja State House in Washington, D.C. They said if if the United States doesn't want them in this country, then the United States must not have access to their oil. So these are only two countries that have taken action. Also, you might have seen Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum made a post last week reminding Trump and the rest of the world that Mexico has options when it comes to consumer goods. She said that when it comes to smartphones, they have options beyond Apple products. When it comes to purchasing clothes, jeans, they have options. When it comes to buying a vehicle, they don't have to go to Ford or Chevrolet. They can they can purchase Toyotas, Kia. She started naming them Volvos, Mazdas. So look what else she said during her post. Let's see. She said when it comes to tourism, there's a lot of tourists who come to Mexico to go to Cancun and Puerto Vallarta and Cabo and some other Mexican locations. She said they even can come to, Mexicans can even go to Canada or Europe, and there are other exclusive destinations in South America, the East, and Europe. And also, she said, believe it or not, there's also better burgers in Mexico that are more nutritious. She said, have you seen any pyramids in the United States? Or do you go to Egypt or Mexico or Peru or Guatemala or Sudan to see the pyramids? So she talked about the culture that other countries have that the United States doesn't have. She said that if we did have some of those things, we did have the pyramids, then all Trump would try to do is to sell them. So, yeah, she just wanted to remind Americans as well as Mexicans, as well as everyone around the world, that the United States has that Mexico and other countries have more to offer than what the United States might think of them. So there's that. Now, a few years ago, I bought a Coach purse at a Coach store in California, and it was on sale. I think regular price, if I remember correctly, it was $600. And of course, I didn't pay the regular price. Again, I bought it on sale. And I was told that the regular price again was around 600, and that was maybe about 5 years ago. So let's fast forward to today. If you add, let's say, the 50% tariff that Trump wants to put on goods from certain countries, because Coach doesn't manufacture its goods. They have different manufacturing facilities. But let's say if there's a 50% tariff on a purse that was $600 regular price, then putting that 50% on it will put it over or close to $1,000, over $1,000 that it would cost for that same purse. Now, I'm told that Hermes purses cost about $38,000. And if you add a 50% tariff to that purse, then someone would be paying, not me, but someone would be paying about $57,000 for the same purse. 57,000 US dollars. But have you seen these people on TikTok? They're claiming that these high-end companies don't actually manufacture the purses or the shoes or the other clothing items that they sell to the people at these unreasonable prices. These people on TikTok are showing you videos of their facilities where they are actually they go and gather the leather, the how they put it together, and they're showing you that all that they are doing is that the facilities or the companies, the high-end companies, all they're doing is putting their logo on it. And where these companies in China, let's say, because I think that's where the people are who are saying that they are making these items for these high-end companies, they're saying it might cost $1,000 to make it after you put on the leather and you do the sewing it together and putting on the gold emblems and all of that. It might be $1,000, but they're going to mark it up to $38,000. But they're saying if you come and buy it from us direct, then there's no reason for you to pay $38,000 for a Hermes purse. The only difference is it won't have the logo on it because they do that, I guess, extra once they get the item. I'm not sure all of the details, but the bottom line is people are paying because they're thinking that certain people are making these and manufacturing these in a certain way when really it's in a facility in China somewhere. So, yeah, if you want to know more about that, you can go look at some of those videos. Just do a search for Hermes purses in China or something like that, and it'll come up. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. So we're talking about Americans abroad getting harsh treatment thanks to Trump. They're whereby Americans are mostly welcomed wherever they go. Now they're being treated differently, turned away. Like I was saying, in some countries, they're revoking visas or they're requiring visas and then denying you the access to the visa. Same thing that the United States is doing to some of American tourists or people who are there to work. So now, again, while I can't speak to the authenticity of what the people on TikTok are saying about how they actually make these goods themselves, I want to tell you about a time that I went to Dakar, Senegal back in 2023. So little under 2 years ago, I went to promote my company. I'm a drone pilot. I have drone company, TCB Drones. I went with the National Black Chamber of Commerce to Senegal because I am looking for opportunities to expand my business internationally. So we were there, and they took us around to different facilities so that we could see where our businesses or our companies might be housed if we decided to do that. And so we went by this manufacturing facility, and I'm going to show you this video that I did because it speaks to what these people on TikTok are saying about how they're actually making the clothes and the merchandise, and then the companies are just slapping on their logos, and you Americans or consumers anywhere, we're thinking that they are making these products in a certain way, and it's just not true. So this is a video that I am trying to show it to you. I put it on this phone. Let me take that off. And I did this again 2 years ago after I saw what was going on. So let me try to play it. Of course, now I can't get oh, okay, I see it. So I'm going to start it again because I was trying to get the. Now I've been playing this, trying to get it ready. Now all of a sudden I can't get the audio to come up. It says it's up though. So I'm going to try to pull that up for you again. But if you are worrying about I just saw an article earlier that said there are some things that you might want to stock up on before the tariffs go into effect, because apparently they were on today or the last week they were supposed to start, and now the Trump administration is saying now they're going to hold off. They're going back and forth, seesawing. So I kind of don't keep up with it. I just every now and then tune in to see what's going on, because as far as I'm concerned, there's really nothing that I need to go run out and buy. I don't eat that much. I don't eat eggs that much. I have cars already. I don't plan to buy a new one. I don't need another television. So all these things that they're saying, if you need a computer or you need a TV or you need a smartphone or you need any of these things, you need to go ahead and get it now so that so that you won't be caught after the tariff is in place paying double or almost half, 50% more than you need to. So again, I was in Dakar. Okay, here it is. Here in Dakar, Senegal. Now you know how some people are paying so much money for name brand clothes because they think it's made by a certain designer, when really the ladies of Senegal are the ones who are making the clothes. I'm at one of the clothing manufacturing companies based right here in Dakar. These clothes will be sold in Walmart stores throughout the United States for millions of dollars. Meanwhile, these employees in Dakar will be paid just $150 US dollars a month. Okay, so that would, and then that's me doing my presentation. But essentially, yes. So we went to this facility and we just happened to be in there. And as a matter of fact, it's a facility that is owned by a Chinese company, and they're in Dakar, and they've hired these people to put together these clothes that are going to be later on sold in Walmart throughout the United States with a label on it that's supposed to be a name brand label. And so the women are getting paid $125 a month to put together the clothes, and then they're going to of course charge us $50, $100 or whatever. I don't go to Walmart at that time. I don't buy clothes that much anyway. I try to stay the same size and wear the same stuff forever and ever. So anyway, Yeah. So I thought, wow, Stephanie, because I don't know if I had ever published or posted the video that I put together on that. I think I did, but didn't really make that big of a deal of it because I had some other stuff going on in my life. But at any rate, now it's coming back around. I remembered how these people in Senegal are doing what these people in China on TikTok are saying that they're doing. They're doing the clothes in Senegal what these people on TikTok say they're doing to purses. So I mean, I believe it. There's no way a purse can be worth $38,000. In my opinion, ain't no way a purse can be worth 500, which is I didn't pay 600, 500. I paid again. It was on sale. Okay. So at any rate, there's a lot that is being revealed and that I think is going to start coming out if these tariffs take hold and people are going to start to realize some things. So it's going to reveal things about the people that we're doing business with, and many of the consumers might realize that we're paying too much for items that are way too expensive and have oftentimes we've placed value on the items when we shouldn't have. Now, a few weeks ago, I came across this video of a woman who is the former, who is she? She's the former African ambassador to the United States. I want you to see this video because this is going back to USAID and how they stopped USAID from being from the money being dispersed throughout different regions, including in parts of Africa. So, and you know how most Americans were up in arms. Oh, they shouldn't do that. The people need the money, and of course, I am not denying that they need the money. My question was and is, after 65 years of giving somebody financial aid, at what point do they become financially independent? Is my question. And so I was looking at this video, and I'm going to show you this woman who was being interviewed by the Al Jazeera's news agency. And it's about a minute long. And then I'm just going to share this with you. Let me make sure you can see it. No, you're looking at me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start it.
Coming in the guise of addressing issues to do with human rights, issues to do with environmental protection and social justice. They are coming in claiming that they are introducing grassroots initiatives that are going to help the people. And so they use that as a way to go into the most remote parts of Africa. They're talking about government advocacy. When you look at it on paper, it all looks really good, but they're actually wolf in sheep's clothing. They are using that open access sounding humanitarian to constantly destabilize governments. I can tell you right now, the majority of African leaders, and not just African leaders, but leaders in the developing world, are celebrating the exit of USAID.
So now she again, I had her name written down, and I think they put it on there. Hold on, my stuff is starting again. So she is the she's the former African ambassador to the United States. Her name is Shihambari Quay. And she is just talking about, they were just talking about what it was the reaction from African leaders after the Trump administration ended USAID money funds to those different countries. And she is saying a lot of them were glad about it because it was just a way for them to get access to their country and keep it destabilized. And I am just, my question again was, what after 60 years, because that's how long they have been, these countries, some of them, not all of them, but most of the countries had been getting funds through USAID is for over 60 years. So what was going at some point? I mean, what's the plan? I mean, that's common sense. That's business 101. Like, how long are we going to do this, and what are the objectives and what expectations do we have? And so if 60 years you're still doing what you were doing on day one, you're doing something wrong. So at any rate, now my question was, after hearing her say that, was, well, where is the money? What's going on with the money? So then she mentioned that, because the I'm going to show you that that's a minute as well. So I'm going to jump ahead here, because the host of the show, the newscaster, asked her, but wait a minute, we Americans haven't heard this part about what you're saying. So what is going on then, you think? So here's what he had, what his question was, and what they ended up talking about.
Here, I think many Americans believe, not all of them, but many of them believe that AID was essentially set up for philanthropic reasons, for dealing with the HIV/AIDS crisis, dealing with the various instabilities in the region, dealing with infrastructure deficits. But you're saying that there was something else as part of that package, meddling.
A major meddling agenda. Major meddling agenda. The majority of some of the workers, now the average USAID worker may not realize it, but quite a few of them are also operatives who are underground, and their major agenda is to destabilize governments, destabilize countries. If you think about it, their sole purpose, for example, filling in the gaps in healthcare and education. Where is the change? Show me one country that USAID was in and education improved. Show me what country where USAID was in and healthcare improved. The social services they're bringing, it's peanuts. The American taxpayer needs to know.
So, yeah, she's asking and bringing up the question that I would have. Now, I don't know that she or any other country leader, of the country's leaders, if they refuse the money, if you really felt that way, then just say, hey, we no longer need your assistance, or have a plan to back away from it. And then, of course, that's hard. If you're getting millions of dollars from someone, then you would probably continue to try to figure out how to keep the money, but at some point have an exit plan or exit strategy. But anyway, as it's so happens now, they don't have to worry about it, because maybe the money will never come their way. But I just wanted to share that with you, so you can, of course, look up more, do your own research. But I'm just thinking that the good that could come out of all these countries and this tariff war is that countries are going to realize that their value, and that they were giving away their value, that they weren't actually getting getting payment, or they weren't getting what they thought they should be getting through allowing people to come in and harvest their natural resources, when they should have been minding their own business all along and building alliances with other countries besides the United States to see if they could indeed have been getting more from the agreement and from the deal. So as for American consumers, though, we need to realize that some of the stuff that we think that we need is really a want, and that we really need to reevaluate how we spend our money, because if we don't and we keep doing the same thing, we're going to realize that we're giving away more money than we should. And of course, that is going to be detrimental to us and to our financial futures. So that's all I have for you. To find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. It's at eurweb.com. Thank you so much and have a super